Welcome. Welcome to Touching the Edge. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Drake. Thank you for being part of this process of investigating emotional mastery and how we can actually bring it about and what it does for us when we go into the world with this level of emotional mastery. I mean, what is it? What is it really? How do we even become aware of it? How do we know when we're not in it? To me, one of the ways of knowing is when you become reactive, when you go to sleep, when it's almost like you have a blackout. You know, something happens and all of a sudden you get into the situation and you end up saying and doing things that you wouldn't say or do when you're more present. So emotional mastery is actually about presence. It's about mindfulness to me. It's about not being in an emotion so much that you lose your sense of presence that is external to the emotion. I want to suggest that when you experience an emotion, part of you is in it, but we want to also be aware that part of us is outside of that experience. And so emotional mastery is actually being bigger than the emotions that we feel. And one of those elements of being larger than life, being bigger than the emotions that we feel, is really being present to ways that can ignite our sense of purpose and presence. You know, for me, it's kind of like recognizing that how you frame the world is going to affect your vision of it. It's very much like, you know, having windows. Can you imagine having the windows of your house so dirty that the light coming in almost begins to change its color? It's almost like you're in this constant state of sort of an overcast day. But if you clean the windows, both inside and out, then all of a sudden the world begins to take on a technicolor reality. It comes in with a different level of vividness. And not only that, but you receive a different level of energy from the light. And so I just want to suggest to you is that the lens that you see the world affects how you see the world. If you have a cracked lens when you take a picture, that picture is never going to be as beautiful as the reality. So let's clean our own windows. Let's recognize that what we are experiencing in life is our perception of life, not necessarily reality. It's important, I think, to realize that it's almost inevitable that we are going to be wrong about some element. Most of us wouldn't claim to be perfect. So if we're not perfect, that means that we're not going to see things exactly accurately. Even if you see things at like a 98% level of accuracy. I mean, isn't it true that like chimpanzees have supposedly almost like the same level, a 98% level of the same DNA as we as human beings? You wouldn't want a chimpanzee as your partner. So not recognizing that being 98% right means that you're still quite wrong. So let's bring this relationship of awareness into our lives. Recognize that when you are accepting what you feel as perception, you allow the other person to have their sense of perception. And then you might actually be an influence in that person's life. And so I want to suggest to you again that this emotional mastery is about cleansing the windows of our own eyes so that we can be more accurate in what we're saying. I'm going to ring the bell and ask you to listen carefully. Here we go. You can cleanse the window of your own perceptions by actively stepping into gratitude and by actively connecting about the deepest values that you have and moving towards them. I bring my hands together and I bow to you, my friend. Thank you so much for your time. Namaste.